Welcome back to Outlaw Review. Today we're installing a ceiling fan. Are you ready? This is a brand new fan that I just purchased at Home Depot as a replacement for my existing fan on the patio. I don't have too much space there, so as you will see, I decided to go with a smaller size. At first I purchased a 52-inch, but it seemed like it was too big. And then my current fan is also a larger piece, I think, and it stopped working after 3 years. Mysteriously, slowly just started dying, one feature after the other. So this is a replacement. So let's take a look on what's inside. So the fan, it's a 44-inch Westinghouse Halley. So what is in the box? Again, a piece of paper, owner's manual, and the blades. So the blades are two different colors, dark brown and light brown. For the light bulb, we have LED. Yeah, these are LED dimmable light bulbs. It's 60 watt, the connecting nuts. So the remote control for the fan and the remote box that's going to be controlling is going to be going above the lighting fixture into the ceiling. This box will provide power to both the fan and the light, which is actually cool because this allows you installation on the basic 3 wires in the ceiling fan instead of 4. You can always take a look at my other video of the installation of the Fanimation fan, where I was constantly complaining about how it was organized. The remote control. You can see only a few buttons. The remote is not as fancy as the Fanimation one, but it will do. More wire nuts and a couple of screws. Like, I'm thinking it's tempered glass, so the one is like, it's almost like plastic, but it's definitely saving on weight. There is another light bulb, bottom bracket that goes into the fan with the light bulbs and just mounts in as the last piece, and then this glass goes on the bottom of it. And here is the whole assembly for the light. This is the fan that I'm currently replacing. First thing you want to do is disconnect the power. Make sure the power is disconnected before you touch the fan. You have to turn it off at the panel, or if you want to turn it off at the switch, it is your choice. But I would always recommend turning it off at the panel, at the breakers. This is what a light fixture from 3 years ago looks like from above. First thing we got to do here is remove these screws at the top. So there are 4 of them on all opposing sides. So the screw that came out and was loose, it was loose in the box. So this one is out of this hole right here. I'm guessing that's a starter hole, since it allows you to put it on before lining up the other ones when you put it on, when you mount it. But that's the screw that was missing. And so 4 screws are out, and they're all identical. Now we remove this top piece and take it out. And this is going to be the mounting bracket that's going to go on towards the ceiling. It's going to mount to your electrical box. This is mounting flush completely, and I'm really interested how this design works out, since normally the fans, they will have a rod coming out with a ball on top, and then on the ceiling you have a bracket that, like the one that you just saw on the fan, on my old fan. So that ball just goes into it, and that's how the fan maintains its steady movement, and it's completely flat. Well, this one, it'll just gonna mount against the ceiling. So I wonder if there's any imperfection, and like where you tilt, would I have to shimmy maybe different corners in order to get it completely level before I start it? So this piece is out. Let's install this into the ceiling. But first, I must remove the old one. This box is well in there. Now, I'm going to use these same screws going into these holes. So these are the two holes that I will be going for. And so this is the hole, this hole and this hole in my example, since these were the screws that I had left over from the previous installation. I will be installing this plate. So these screws, they're going to go like so. This is really cool. I really like this design so far. So once I bring it up all the way in, I will bring my level, set it up here to make sure that it's all level. And I think I have a couple of shimmies, which is just these narrow pieces of like plastic, really thin, that you can just kind of stack up and level something out. I'm gonna go get the shimmies. I could not find the shims. The plate even has an integrated hook onto which you hang the whole assembly while you're leisurely connecting the wires. And then you just kind of flop it on and screw it on, and that's the end of it. This is how I would get the level. So I can touch it to the plate and see where the bubble is. So I can see that here it's mostly even, but over here it starts tilting. So I know that this edge, you see, like, because it has this movement from side to side. So I need to minimize this movement and set it at a certain level. So I will be placing these shims, pieces of plastic, above here. Next thing I'm going to have to do is take out this bracket that is supposed to hold the transceiver, the one that controls all of the units. So it is held with one screw, and the other side just has this lip on it, so it kind of slides into the groove, so you only have to set one screw. Now I'm going to put that controller device into here, then I'll screw it up into the box in the ceiling. So this way the box is already attached and it's sitting up there. If you've seen my other video from Fanimation on the other design of the fan that I installed in the living room not that long ago, you might remember how much I struggled with keeping that box in that thing. It's that bowl design. So above the bowl holder, right above it, there's a plank where you just kind of shove this controller in and it sits there. But as you're messing with the wires, it's moving around back and forth. This is a much better idea so far. As you can see, the controller, it has this like lip that is sticking out. So on it, when you take the bracket, that's what kind of holds it in place. It doesn't let it slide a lot. This was really cool. All the wires are right here. They're all nice and clean. There's that bowl bracket, the one I was talking about earlier. And this is the same one that I have in the living room on the other fan that I was discussing, where this thing mounts flush towards the ceiling and the box. This thing at the bottom is hanging down, and then the rod goes in with the bowl, sits in here, and then there's a rod which now has very much free play. So that's why it doesn't really have to sit completely flush. But with this system, it has to be completely flush in order to function properly. At the top of this whole fan assembly, there's 4 holes, and so 2 of them are looking like this. The other 2 are just regular holes, just like so. See? So I'm gonna use the hook in that thing, and I will run it through this hole, and I will just let it hang, and then I'll be connecting the wires. This is so cool. I might change the aspect ratio. I'm trying to get as level of platform as possible, and this way I can look at it in every direction. I see that it moves this way. I'm shimming it up on the back end here. So now it can move only this way. So now I will shimmy up this side. I'm perfectly in the bubble. I don't know if you can see that. As you can see, I put a bunch of shims. No matter which way I applied the level, the plate it's fully tightened and it's sitting perfectly horizontal to the ground and it's not wobbling at all. Right, the connections are really simple. So right now, out of the house, I have 3 wires. There's a white, black, and copper. Copper is the ground, and the other all colors are really matching. The ground, we have a green cable here on top coming out of the bracket. I have a green cable coming out of the fan, and there's a copper coming out of the house. I'm going to connect all 3 of these just using these wire nuts like this. So you bunch up several wires together after they've been stripped, and then you can connect them, just bunch them together, and you put this nut over it, and then you screw it on. You can kind of pull on the wire to see if it's sitting there tightly, because if it comes out, most likely it will come out eventually. If you don't want that, you might as well test it right away. 2 wires are coming out of the control unit here on one side, and it's black and white, and that matches what we have coming out of the house. I'm going to connect them just like I did with the ground. So white to white, black to black. And remove some protective sheathing at the end. It's already been, so the wire has been stripped for you. House wires are also made out of copper. I don't know if it's a standard, but that's how it is in my house. And they're these just really thick, unbendable wires that are really hard to deal with. Why don't they use something softer? If somebody knows, feel free to comment so we can all learn. But I haven't been able to answer this question yet. There, you see, I pulled on it and the wire came out, which means that it needs to be secured a little better. I'm screwing it on. I'll kind of interweave it, kind of wrap it around the main wire. Even though it's still coming apart here, but in the cap, it should kind of tighten up a little bit. Pulling, nothing. All right. The main ground wire, the main everything is done. It can just all be set aside. It's already there. I don't even have to mess with it. Now I have 3 wires coming out of the controller box. Black, blue, and white. And there's the same exact wires coming out of the ceiling fan. So I'll take 3 more nuts, do the same exact thing, and connect those things. It's really good. You have plenty of space underneath. You don't really have to worry about the tight cable management. Yet again, another positive over the Fanimation that I installed last week. Black one to the black one. And since now both of the wires are kind of pliable and I can do something with them, I'll try to interweave both of them before I put the cap on, and make sure to interweave them in the same direction that you will be putting on the cap. Otherwise it will just unwind clockwise. That's where you want to go. Both wires in. There, I pull on. This is really cool. Like I don't have to worry about just keeping everything really tight. We just put this whole platform on and just like, hey. I just hope that it lives longer than 3 years than the previous fan did. Pulling on them. This one coming out. This one's not coming out. All of the connections are complete. And I didn't have any blades like trying to hit me in the face, trying to rotate as I'm doing this. I'm liking this. Next step is to start mounting the unit. So I will put in these two screws, these tiny ones that I took out of the top of the platform. So there were four, remember, but two of them, they have those grooves on the sides that allow me to attach the base to it while the screws are already inside. And it allows me to lift the base in and just kind of twist it on those screws while they're still not tight. So my open loops are here and here. So I will put the screws here and here. This way it'll be just an easy lift. I will lift it and put these whole loops onto these screws. Sitting on both sides. So now I'll put these screws on the sides. Make sure to always take down the model information so you can write it down on the manual for further reference. Plus, if you send in the warranty registration, you'll actually get the real registration and warranty. Don't throw those things away. On this fan, I had to take it down in order to see the model number because it is written inside that bowl all the way at the top. So you have to take it down in order to see that sticker. This fan comes with a 2-year warranty where they will replace the whole fan. And after 2 years, they cover the motor only. But really, since I've only had problem with motors on the last two fans that were hanging here, after years of working outside in a damp and humid environment, let's say for 3 years I have protection, I am happy. So, here are the blades. They came from this company right here. Here's the color comparison. I have 3 blades and I'm going to put them in. In this fan, the way the blades work is you take this end and then you slide it into those slots that are on top. Right. So there's the negative thing about this fan. We have these screws that are supposed to be for mounting the blades. So there are 9 of these screws and they all come with these washers. It's a plastic washer, but it is so tight they cannot just push it on top of the screw. I'm having to screw the screw through the washer in order to get it to work. I'm guessing it's gonna make the friction a lot better, but for its purpose, and having to do that with every single one of these 9, that's kind of asking too much. Or they should be either come pre-installed this way, or it should be just loose as a normal washer usually is. So I'm going to use one of my favorite tools right now. Small electric screwdriver. It's rechargeable, USB. But it's for those situations where you could use a regular screwdriver, but if you didn't have to, hey, why not use an assistant? It's not going to be capable of driving anything, so it's not like using a drill or a driver, but this is a very convenient tool. Done. As you can see, I just slid it in there. It's staying by itself, just on the tension on the slip. I'll find the holes. Again, I'm not a big fan of these designs. I was hoping to get a fan where I can click in the fan blades, but I could not find it in the size that I needed. Bummer. Because these are usually pretty hard to locate the hole, but as long as you find the first one in the front, the other ones are easier to locate. Yet another horrible design. Make and click in place. Why so hard? At least in this situation, I didn't have those blades while I was messing with the wiring on top. Thank you for that. Blade number 2, 3 screws, heading upstairs. by the way, these blades are, it feels like they're a little bit better made than the ones on the Fanimation. Also, they feel a little bit thicker, heavier, even though they're much shorter. Maybe it's just kind of some kind of lamination on the end, even though it looks very, very similar. Now I just need to put up this light fixture, and I'm gonna be hooking up onto these 3 mounting points. I have to remove just 1 screw all the way here, either one of these 3, because this thing will allow us to slide on the other 2. This heat shield here is not secured by anything, it's just kind of floating around, but since it's a heat shield, it should work. It's all secured. Now come the light bulbs. They have to like aim down or to the side or something, because they're not gonna fit next to each other. Now the bulb is resting on this thing, so there's pressure being applied to the bulb by this point. This is definitely not safe. I'm not sure if I start twisting this thing to the side that it doesn't break. I just have to like open them up a little bit. These are LEDs, so they should last. I just turned on the power switch, and there's power going to the unit. Now the moment of truth, the remote. Let's hit it on high. Yeah. And we'll try the light. Okay. Lights. Alright, so just on and off. Is it bright enough? It should be bright enough. I'm gonna keep the fan on high and see how it performs in case if it wobbles or something. So there's the Westinghouse fan installation.
Now that the installation is complete, here are my thoughts. So the first thing is the shim situation. If your electrical box in the ceiling does not protrude below the ceiling, you are golden. The ceiling fan will be perfect for you because it will just go flush once you tighten the screws. In my situation, my electrical box sits a little bit below the ceiling level, so because of that I had space in between the ceiling and the base of the ceiling fan, so I had to put in shims from the side. It all depends on your construction and on your needs, but in my situation it worked out. I had the shims. I don't mind kind of seeing them in there this way, so I didn't have a problem with it. The non-clickable blades. Just like in the previous installation that I did for the Fanimation, there I had to install the blades while the unit was still on the couch. I had to put all the bolts in, then I put up the whole assembly up into the ceiling, and now I have to work around those blades while I'm connecting the wires into the ceiling. With this fan, we didn't have this issue. Here we were able to connect the blades after the unit was already installed. That was great. But if those blades were clickable, that would have been even better. This way we would not have to go underneath the unit and connect it with a screwdriver from underneath. We'll just click in the blades from the end. All fan companies, please take a note of this. Clickable blades, yes, please. This fan has been installed over a month ago and it still works perfectly fine. It's balanced perfectly fine. It's not moving. The only thing that is moving on the fan is the ring. Having an LED light that is connected together with the fans, and it connects to all of the wiring into one unit that sits in the ceiling box, is perfect. If you've had a previous generation ceiling fans where you had the pull wires, inside of those you would have a mechanical box inside that every time you click that switch, that something in that box is clicking, that there is a switch inside that functions every single time you pull on that cord. With this fan, we eliminate this mechanical failure, which, in my opinion, in my experience, has accounted for quite a few failures of my fan. The only thing that we're really worried about is the motor. And as I've mentioned about the warranty, 2 years warranty covers the whole ceiling fan. And after the 2 years, the motor warranty kicks in. And since the motor is the only thing I'm really worried about, good, I like it. The last thing after you do the installation of this fan is make sure that the switch on top of the unit is correctly positioned for the time of the year. Are you pulling the air up or you're pushing it down? You want to push it down and push the switch to the left. In the summertime, when you're trying to push the air on somebody below the fan. In the wintertime, you're doing it in the reverse. You put the switch to the right position so it pulls the air up away from you. This has been fun. Please subscribe. I'll see you soon.